We have always been drawn to ancient monuments, to the precision of Egypt's Great Pyramid, with its mathematically exact alignments and intricate geometric proportions, or to Angkor Wat, whose halls amplify sound frequencies with striking intentionality. Yet despite centuries of study, we have no definitive explanation for why these ancient structures were built with such extraordinary precision, or why their builders left behind no written records to explain their purpose. But what if these monuments are not silent at all? What if the precise geometry and acoustic resonance was a method of recording information without language? What if these structures were actually built by a now extinct species of hominids who evolved without the ability for complex speech and had to find another way to communicate? Consider first the astonishing precision found in the Great Pyramid of Giza. Each angle, each internal ratio, each alignment with astronomical bodies demonstrates a clear intention to preserve complex patterns, not through language or text, but directly through physical form. Similarly, Angkor Wat in Cambodia exhibits sophisticated acoustic engineering, carefully constructed chambers that amplify specific resonant frequencies, suggesting another deliberate effort to embed meaning directly into structure and sound. These features become less puzzling if we view them not merely as temples or tombs, but as attempts at externalized cognition, communication through resonance, spatial geometry, and vibration. If spoken language was unavailable or severely limited, encoding knowledge in permanent physical forms and acoustic resonances would offer a logical alternative. Here's where our theory diverges significantly from mainstream interpretations, and importantly from speculative theories invoking extraterrestrial intervention. Instead, we propose a terrestrial, biologically grounded hypothesis. The builders of these structures were descendants of a Neanderthal-related hominid lineage, whose vocal anatomy was incapable of producing articulated speech. Despite this limitation, these hominids developed a parallel form of intelligence, rich in spatial reasoning, acoustic sensitivity, and pattern recognition. Although it is well established that Neanderthal and Homo sapiens coexisted for extended periods, genetic evidence indicates that their interactions were far more complex than simple competition or replacement. Substantial interbreeding and prolonged cultural overlap have left a permanent imprint on modern human DNA. Building from this known coexistence, we propose that cooperation between anatomically modern humans and mute, resonance-adapted hominid populations was not rare or isolated, but widespread and structured. Many ancient monuments, rather than marking isolated anomalies, may reflect the broader cultural legacy of this collaboration. A civilization in which resonance, geometry, and spatial communication formed the primary modes of knowledge transmission, evolving naturally alongside early human symbolic development. Integrating this triad, monumental precision, acoustic and geometric communication, and biological constraints, offers more than just a novel explanation for ancient monuments. It provides a new analytical framework for archaeology itself. Instead of limiting ourselves to traditional archaeological interpretations, we can now re-examine ancient structures through the lens of resonance-based and geometric communication, asking new questions that previous models have never fully addressed. Rather than simply assuming every megalith was built for symbolic or ritualistic purposes alone, we could systematically investigate these structures as acoustic and geometric communication devices, looking specifically for evidence of their effectiveness as carriers of encoded meaning. This approach opens possibilities beyond direct biological evidence. By rigorously analyzing ancient monuments for deliberate acoustic properties, harmonic alignments, resonant chambers, and mathematical proportions, we can begin to detect intentional patterns that previously appeared as mere curiosity or decorative flourish. Where conventional archaeology has seen only ritual significance or astronomical alignments, we may now seek acoustic functionality, carefully measuring reverberation times, frequency responses, and sound propagation within these sites. Similarly, precise geometric relationships previously considered purely symbolic might reveal standardized ratios and spatial configurations designed explicitly for storing or communicating information through non-linguistic channels. In other words, applying this theory does not restrict us to biological or fossil-based evidence alone. Rather, it provides a logical model guiding the investigation of ancient structures themselves, helping researchers ask more targeted, scientifically testable questions. Could the internal chambers of the Great Pyramid have served as precisely tuned resonant cavities for acoustic communication or memory storage? Might the spatial layout of ancient stone circles or monumental terraces, previously described vaguely as sacred, instead reflect intentionally encoded spatial relationships meant to represent complex cognitive patterns? Equipped with a clear hypothesis about resonance and geometry as the language of these ancient builders, we can reinterpret known architectural features, potentially discovering entirely new functional categories previously overlooked by traditional analysis. This terrestrial reinterpretation also allows us to shift away decisively from speculative and unfalsifiable extraterrestrial theories, such as the popular ancient aliens narratives. Rather than attributing ancient monuments to external alien intervention, which inherently cannot be falsified and diverts attention from genuine scientific inquiry, this theory proposes a fully terrestrial, biologically plausible explanation: the evolution of advanced cognitive capacities along alternative pathways due to specific anatomical constraints. We no longer need to invoke outside forces to explain complexity. We instead recognize the innovative capacities inherent within evolutionary pressures themselves. Our hypothesis suggests that advanced intelligence and the monumental achievements of early civilizations arose directly from terrestrial hominids who diverged from known evolutionary lines, potentially descendants of Neanderthal or similar early hominid populations. They developed unique cognitive specializations precisely because vocal limitations forced them to exploit other sensory and cognitive channels, particularly acoustic resonance, spatial geometry, and visual patterning. This theory thus restores agency and ingenuity to early human and hominid populations, enabling us to interpret ancient achievements without defaulting to external or alien explanations. This integrated triad of ideas invites us to rethink ancient history in a fundamentally new way. By treating ancient megalithic sites not as isolated mysteries but as deliberate communication structures, we gain a richer, more rigorous methodology for archaeological exploration. It offers a clear and scientifically testable path forward, allowing us to revisit existing monuments with fresh eyes, investigating acoustic signatures, precise geometric ratios, and spatial alignments with renewed purpose. Ultimately, this theory holds promise far beyond simply resolving the puzzle of ancient monuments. It may illuminate an entirely forgotten chapter of human and hominid cognitive evolution, revealing a civilization whose intelligence flourished not through words, but through resonance and form. Perhaps the echoes of their silent communication still linger in stone and sound, patiently awaiting our discovery, if only we know how and where to listen.